I always thought I was prepared for being a good partner in relationships, and although I did not understand that sometimes things might end from the other part. And I was prepared for those rejections and breakup. I learned this the hard way. And wish I had learned this behavior before so I could it maturely. I hope this helps someone in the future. Edit. Asking some questions is okay if it is a breakup. Check the answer of you, Nowhere 53 a better version of this advice. Some good advice, with a lot of bad advice in it. Yes, learn to handle rejection or breakups, but it's not helpful to tie the two together as if they are the same. All this advice might be good applied to rejection, just asking someone out etc., but doesn't really apply to breakups. It's normal and understandable to have emotions in a breakup. To have successful relationships you have to be emotionally open and vulnerable, and that goes for breakups too. Of course don't act aggressive or hysterical, but it's okay to feel emotions like hurt, anger, confusion, or whatever else you feel. It's usually more about how you handle these emotions. It's also okay to ask questions in a breakup. Of course a torrent of questions that try to break the other person down. Not good, but it's appropriate to try and understand what the other person is thinking and feeling, and if there are things you can learn from the breakup. Lol, right? Imagine your response to someone saying, listen, I don't think it's really working out, discussing their one-year relationship, okay, bye. I met someone I really liked for the first time in a long time. Lots of lust and passion. She told me she couldn't do it anymore. I left it at that, but the struggle to not text desperately back was a struggle for 2 weeks and it still lingers in my head. I felt real connection with this woman. My friends had convinced me that any more contacting her would just be a form of manipulation. So I've opted out of texting her again. Nah, never text her back. When it's done, just disappear. The lack of closure will always be in the back of their minds and they will reach out again, even if it is years later. A new benchwarmer. I would just add on to this and say, even if you think you should say something, take 24 to 48 hours and really think it over. Unwind and consider it from a calm state of mind. Even if it seems basic and essential. You make the worst decisions when you're acting defensively. Great advice. I agree with this, but there's a few things I want to add in. You have the full right to feel the way you do, however you must control your actions at all time. It is 100% okay and morally right to block and remove your exes or any romantical prospect gone wrong out of your life. I've had some crushes here and there lately that I had to do that with, because it just hurt to keep seeing their posts on socials, and was a constant reminder to me, and you don't want to create a deeper wound. I also blocked my recent ex who I dated for 6 months but we broke up in October. He wanted to make amends with me and maybe get back together, which I forgave him for his past grievances and we actively worked towards that until he called it quits and felt he wasn't ready. I was and am full of resentment for him, so I blocked him on everything rather than acting on how I felt. However, it's not okay to mistreat someone because your feelings for them got hurt by rejection or the breakup. I know I'm a get downvoted just for that very sentence, but it's true. Cope and get over it how you will, but just be civil in what you do. In order for him, her to be the one, she would have to see you as being the one. At the very least, a soulmate is someone who actually wants to be with you. Never love anyone who treats you like you're ordinary. Oscar Wilde. Every time I thought I was being rejected from something good, I was actually being redirected to something better. Steve Maraboli. Dating is primarily a numbers game. People usually go through a lot of people to find good relationships. That's just the way it is. Henry Cloud. Best wishes. You made my day. Wonderful quotes, by the way, an inspiration. It's like a job interview. Sometimes you want to ask for feedback in order to help yourself to improve if there's anything that might have been lacking from your side. You can ask but cannot always expect anything in return. At the end of the day, it's for your own satisfaction. I think sometimes it's a bit harsh when people just say drop it and go, and it's like not necessarily, cause that's why there's so much communications problem, cause people think they shouldn't be asking even just once. But do understand you won't always hear back, and that is also okay. Smiley face. I disagree. Details are good because they're actionable feedback. If I did something wrong, I want to know what I did, that way I can work on it and not repeat the same mistake in the next relationship. To be clear, I'm not suggesting trying to win someone back if they're breaking up. But being aware of something that's wrong makes it much easier to fix than having to guess. It also provides a sense of closure to know the other person's reasoning. While true, in case of feedback you're dependent on the other party. I unfortunately hadn't had the luck to get real and constructive feedback. Usually it's the generic, "it's not you, it's me," and other verbiage. Sure, most do it to not further damage and hurt one. I don't think I agree with this fully. I think it's valuable to be honest with yourself. It's okay to cry and ask why. You often don't get an answer, but I think the honesty with asking the questions you need to is important. Acting like a robot, "okay, bye," may be stoic and cool. But it's really not the reality and will suppress emotions in a toxic way. I don't regret my tears with my breakups. I responded, "Okay, bye," and I ended up suffering because I didn't have closure for years. Don't do it. But yes, also don't plead and beg. "Okay, bye" might be mature, but I agree muchly. A lot of people need closure and find out why things happened or didn't. Easier said than done. I feel that this is something you have to learn from experience. I've been there too. Eventually I cut contact completely and had those same regrets. Not everyone does though, so a man pointing this out might be a revelation to some. As an example, my ex is almost 50 and it took him more years to accept the breakup than we were ever together to start with. I've gotten a lot of dates when I was younger because I could handle rejection. And I'm 5'5". I'm a man that knows rejection. Ladies was willing to give me a chance because they felt safe that if it didn't work out, I wouldn't bug the shit out of them. I have a lot of exes as Facebook friends. And I found love. I've been happily married 12 years now. Never be emotionally needy. Love yourself and everything falls into place. Ugh, I have fired off some crazy ass texts after rejections. I suck. Nia, we all react in different ways and it's okay. How boring the people would be if they would have reacted the same. This applies to a casual relationship and perhaps to a rejection after few dates, not to someone who's still in love and grieving. I reached out numerous times to my ex, sometimes regretted. Despite this I wouldn't change a thing. You eventually lose an emotional attachment to your ex, but I would have never be like, "Okay, bye." Why be in a relationship in a first place, if it means nothing? I do that. I always just say something along the lines of, "No problem, it was nice getting to know you," then leave it at that. But inside, I do be hurting, pleading face. It hurts a lot. Love is hard. I like to ask why in case there's something I can improve for future relationships. Why would I want to help someone be better for future relationships? That was my first policy changed because I was curious when I was rejected by a girl I really liked, trying to know the reason for her saying no. How it ended: loss of self-esteem and constant thinking of what I could have done. If I had cut it off cleanly without any added word, things would have been better. This is good advice. I'd also suggest staying calm. I know that might be easier said than done, but freaking out, yelling, and showing any emotion puts the ball in their court. It also reinforces their decision when you do. I was completely blindsided by my breakup back in December. It crushed me and I didn't keep my cool over the phone when she called to end it. When the emotions start flowing, things get complicated. I learned a lot even though it hurt like hell, but time heals all. 4 months later and I'm finally starting to see the light again. To anyone going through a tough breakup, you got this. Heal on your own terms and time. No one heals the same way. Some days are harder than others, but things do get better with time. Yes, absolutely say, "Okay, bye," to fuck with their head. Walk away with supreme indifference like the relationship was about as important as choosing between breakfast cereals. Obviously don't do this for a lieutenant relationship, but for a short-term one, absolutely do it. You don't owe them anything after they break up with you. I agree with you to a certain extent. I think it's also good to ask why. But if the other person doesn't do anything, then that's it, let go. Lol, I'm saying this like it's so easy to do when in fact I'm sorta in this situation right now. I was broken up by my girlfriend who I loved, while I was on a work trip 10 kilometers away from her. To say I was devastated is an understatement. I couldn't see her, touch her, hug her. All she told me was she didn't love me anymore. I was super angry, but mostly deeply sad. When I got to my country and I saw her, all the feelings rushed back and she told me she wanted to get back with me. Now we are together again, but I just don't know how to feel anymore. I did make myself look like an ass, but the circumstances were really fucked. I know that feel, man. Recently got broken up with in a LDR too. Shit just sucks. I hope you can work things out. I'm a lot better at this now. She wants to end things, we have a mature talk, and as part of that I say, I can't see you anymore, not for a while at least and maybe never again, it's too hard for me. And then we part, and I stop all contact immediately. It sucks early on, but gets much better much faster. Just say something like, okay, bye. Do not do this for a breakup. Trying to be like, okay, bye, actually made the end of my last relationship worse because I was doing exactly what they hoped I wouldn't, but how was I supposed to react when they ghosted me for a week and then messaged me 2 whole paragraphs about how they didn't love me for the last 4 months at 4 a.m. when I was sleeping? I just say nothing. Closure is for suckers. Some people get more emotionally attached than others do. They need time to get over. Come to grips with something to them is devastating. Everyone is different. People with certain level of detachment will have no issues saying, bye then. Why though? It doesn't matter whether you seem desperate or angry. The relationship is over anyways. Acting all cool is not going to change anything. I feel like the title without elaborating on nuance leaves a lot of room for misinterpretation. I want to leave my original comment pointing out nuance in fact. I think handling a breakup or rejection maturely would involve not acting all cool. That or being desperate and angry are 2 opposite extremes reflecting a fragile ego. A mature person would talk out things to be on good terms and openly address, help each other come to terms with the realization they are not compatible. How do you get better, improve, or get better by saying, okay bye? Yeah, I had to sit with my feelings for a bit before I sent a very reactive message to someone who gave no explanation as to why they don't want to talk anymore. Just have to take the L and move on with my life. Take the L? What do you mean? For rejections, I always go with, I understand, then just consider this flattery slightly smiling face have a good day, night. IDK how good I think this advice is for breakups though, it's a little weirdly informal for someone you are committed romantic relationship with. I think I learned this from a TV show, someone let me know if you know which show. I got a no from a girl and I said, okay that's a bummer, then just moved on and continued to talk to her just as a friend because she was a friend. If you don't make a big deal out of it it's not a big deal.